Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Toilets and Titles Roundtable Edition. My name is Justin Stevens. I'm with you tonight with some of the powerhouse guys from Toilets and Titles. Just go ahead and go around the table real quick. We won't do formal introductions because everybody knows who we are, but we've got the Frito with us. We got Dirty Jobs. We got George, and we got Joey. Appreciate you guys coming on. Obviously, we're talking NFL playoffs and conference championship matchups. George, what do you got? We're right off the bat. What do you got?
It's not the Frito with us today. It is the birthday boy with us today. We must acknowledge the birthday boy.
Are we going to sing?
Absolutely, we're singing. Have you not heard these golden pipes I've got? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, let's put that real quick. That did not sound like Boyz II Men to me.
Hey, we now have 700 subscribers, guys. I don't know what the hell just happened.
How old are you now?
That we definitely
appreciate it, guys.
Voice for radio. I'll tell you that.
Enough about me. Let's get going.
It's never enough about you, my man. But we will get going. All right. So check us out on Twitter, at Toilets and Titles. And definitely want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters, patreon.com/Toilets and Titles. If you look down at the bottom, you'll see the scroll that shows a lot of the different levels that we offer for our Patreon supporters. You guys are making some stuff happen. You Patreon supporters are making some big stuff happen for us in Alabama, and we can't thank you enough for that. You're really helping us to be able to move this show. So huge thank you to all of you supporters. If you're watching this for the first time, because, if it's the first time, it'd be the only time that you didn't do everything down there at the bottom of the screen now, where you like that, give us that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell so you get the notifications when we go live with all of our shows across the board, because we got a ton of them out there. And, of course, the 5-star Apple review would be greatly appreciated. We do a weekly Tuesday night show, and I need a new 5-star review to read on the show on Tuesday. So please do us a huge favor. Give us that 5-star review as well. Then, of course, thank you, whoever brought that up, toiletsandtitles.com for videos, articles, and all the other content, and also a little bit of a snippet about each one of us on there as well. I don't know if you guys have ever actually noticed that when you look at the website, but they got a little quick little snippet about each one of us, so it's kind of nice. I probably need to update mine because a lot has happened in 4 years. All right, hey, so real quick, how was everybody's day? Joey, how was your day, man? We didn't get to say hi to you. You came in like right as we were going live.
Yeah, it was like to come at the last second. I was taking a rinse. I wanted to be nice and clean for my millions of Joe Knows fans. I wanted to smell lovely. But I'm smelling lovely, and this is a great day because every Friday is a great day. Unless it's not, but it usually is. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's the beginning of the weekend, and I love my Friday nights. And I love talking football Friday nights.
Is smell-o-vision a thing yet?
I'm working on it.
And we know Rich has his birthday today. He's going to enjoy a nice birthday dinner with the family, man. We appreciate you taking time out of your day. Like, literally, this is your day, man. So thanks for hopping in, man. We appreciate you.
Anytime.
George, why don't you show that new swag?
Yeah, so I got a Toilets and Titles hoodie that my wife made up for me just in time to go to Alabama for the Senior Bowl. I heard the weather is a little bit colder than what it was supposed to be in Florida. So I said, you know what? Like a good Boy Scout, I need to be prepared. So I got myself a nice little hoodie to wear.
Man, I'll probably be walking around in shorts. And then the man we wish we had in Alabama that had to bail on us, man. Mike, how's it going today, buddy?
Yeah, it's going good, man. It's going good. It's been a long week. It's been a long day, but it's really nice to get to sit down with you guys, talk a little football coming up on the weekend. I'm pretty excited about this weekend's slate of games. And like I said, man, it's always a pleasure sitting with you fine folks.
I like it.
And George.
Thank you.
All right. So before we get into that slate of games, don't forget to check out our website, toiletsandtitles.com, and look at those affiliates. There's a particular link I'm trying to push right now. That's the Homage link. If you click on Homage or Amazon or any of the links, but Homage in particular, you can order merchandise. You can order football merchandise. Matter of fact, I'll just do the read. That makes more sense, right? So Homage specializes in ultra comfy, high quality looks, repping sports, pop culture, and more legendary moments. Learn more about them through our affiliate link on toiletstotitles.com. All right, so jumping right into the very first game. Actually, you know what? I'll let you guys decide. Do we want to talk about the Bengals first, or we want to talk about the Eagles game first?
Let's talk about the
Eagles and 49ers.
Eagles and 49ers. That's the one I heard. All right, so Eagles and 49ers. So we've got the number 2 49ers are at the number 1 Eagles. The NFC Conference Championship matchup. And I got to be honest with you, as an outsider looking in for these playoffs and the last couple of playoffs, being a Colts fan, I don't really like it when it's kind of chalk like this. Like, I get that the Bengals are the 3 seed, but if they could have played out that game with the Bills, they easily could have been the 2 seed. And then we'd have the 2 1s and the 2 seeds. I don't think I really like that all that much. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? They deserve it. They're there for a reason. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I mean, if you sit here and think about it, when was the last time we had this situation? I mean, for the past couple of years, we've had some underdogs and stuff like that, some, lower seeds get up. I mean, Bengals, a prime example. What were they ranked last year? I don't think they were in the top 2 or 3.
No, you're right.
No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I don't think. I don't think so. Did they even win their division last year?
I don't think so. I'm assuming it was Baltimore, but Tennessee had the number 1 seed, and I'm assuming Buffalo and Kansas City probably had higher seeds. I think Cincinnati was like a 5 or 6 seed, if I recall correctly, last year.
They won their division by a tie. So they would have been. They were the 4 seed. Yep. Yeah, but. Anyway, that was last year. I guess I kind of got us off on a tangent right out the gate. I apologize. I was thinking about that earlier when I was typing in the seeds here. But the Eagles are 2.5-point favorites in this game, and they are at home. This 49ers team looked pretty good throughout the season without CMC, with any random quarterback, and now they have Brock Purdy and CMC that are both playing at a high level right now. So both teams also have a pretty solid defense as well. So this game could be a pretty brutal, vicious match. As a matter of fact, it easily could be a low-scoring game, even though both teams have pretty good offenses too.
I don't think so. And here's why. I think that it's actually going to be a mediocre scoring game. I don't think the 49ers have much of a chance in this. I mean, we've seen Brock Purdy ripping it up, man. He's been doing great. He's been doing a lot of things back there, but this is the first time he's really faced a defense of this caliber. He's gonna have to move around that. He's gonna have to do a lot of things to get around a defense that's top 3, top 4 in the league. And the other thing about it is their defense is really good, but how often do they have to face a mobile quarterback throughout the season? I mean, if you look at their track record, when they face a mobile quarterback, those are the games that they're losing. And because they have to adapt too much on defense. When you got to take out a linebacker every single play to just do nothing but spy on Jalen Hurts, and they will have to, and there's actually a chance that the way Jalen Hurts can run on you, you'd almost have to isolate 2 of your linebackers out of almost every single game plan. So, I mean, that puts you really really far behind when you're talking about the rushing game. And then when you talk about a team that can run the RPO the way these guys can, I'm just saying, man, I have a feeling that Eagles are the heavyweights here, and I think they're going to do good.
So obviously, it looks like the P2P guys are getting their screen ready to roll for their show. They kind of forgot that we're trying to use this background for hours. Oh, look at that. He's even changed. Oh, man, come on now. You're changing up everything here. All right, I'll fix that in a minute. George, I saw you shaking your head down there about the double teaming Hurts thing. But before we get to that, I do have to say we got to give all copyright props to Fisher-Price for the background noise that we heard just a moment ago. I don't want to get in trouble or sued by Fisher-Price for the toy music. And we got BFTG Jason in the house. What's happening, buddy?
Not much, man. I just rushing home, grabbing some food, and jumping on with some good friends. How you guys doing?
Good, Jason.
I was actually telling George that I really hope that you didn't show up because you're ahead of me by 1 in the picks, and I wasn't going to accept any of your picks if you threw him in later. So we'll get – actually, you know what? I forgot to go over the picks. So I'll get back to you in just a second, George. The overall record on picks, because we are going to pick who we think is going to win against the spread. As of right now, Jason's in the lead. That's going to end this week. But Jason is 7-3 against the spread. Coach and I are 6-4. George is 5-5, and Joe is 3-7. But
How dare you?
I almost didn't say it. But George, I'm interested to see what you had to say about what Mike was talking about with the 49ers defense there.
Yeah, so everything Mike said about Brock Purdy and their defense is the exact same argument people were making last week when they had to play the vaunted Dallas Cowboys defense, right? Like they said Micah Parsons was going to get after Brock Purdy. He's going to, make him run for his life. Michael Parkins is going to just wreak havoc. Trayvon Diggs, is going to shut down, whoever the 49ers run him out there. And that just did not happen. It did not happen. It was not close. The defense for the 49ers, as good as the Eagles defense is getting after the ball carrier and getting to the quarterback, like I believe they had over 70 sacks on the season, and they don't blitz a lot. I think all four of their interior linemen each had like 10 sacks each. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Excuse the language, how good that defense is. But the problem is the 49ers offensive line and the 49ers offense in general is so much better than anything that the Eagles had to play this season. Their schedule was as soft as 10-ply paper towels. Okay? It was the softest schedule of any team. And I'm the biggest Jalen Hurts guy here. I was talking about how Jalen Hurts was going to be a stud in the preseason before he even started as the Eagles quarterback. Like, that's how much I have much respect I have for Jalen Hurts. But that 49ers team is a different beast. They're completely healthy this year, which they have not been throughout most of the season. And then they went ahead and added a Christian McCaffrey mid-season to make them even more dangerous. Like, this is a classic case of two heavyweights, but I think the 49ers are definitely going to be the better team.
All right, so first off, that's one, George. So another one, and you have a 10-minute timeout. Secondly,
yes,
Rich, I saw you nodding your head. I saw you nodding your head there. Do you have anything to add about your views of what this game could shake out to be?
Yeah, so real quick, I'm back one step up. I know we're talking about this team, but if you sit there and think about all four teams that are playing this weekend, every single one of their defenses are performing at their top level right now. Going into the playoffs and everything. Eagles defense, I mean, they've been good all year long. They've had some, they had some moments. 49ers defense, by all, is top defense out of the four, I agree. But Bengals defense and the Chiefs defense, they have stepped up the last going into the playoffs and have been looking good and everything. So I think this is going to be especially I'm going back to the 49ers Eagles now. So this is going to be a defensive game to a certain scheme, but you got all these stars on offense that can break open any moment and stuff like that. I think 49ers are going to keep Jalen Hurts in check this week, but not enough to pull it out. I think overall, I think what comes down to is the quarterbacks, but it's going to be between Purdy and Hurts, where they played each other back in college, but didn't have the defense it looks like they do now. So both got great players to go with. McCaffrey is going into this game a little dinged up. Mitchell's going in this game a little dinged up. So I like to see how that plays a factor into this game and everything. So I do like what George is saying about the 49ers defense, keeping Hurts in check to a certain degree, but not enough to, where they can't pull out the win.
Well, Rich, down below both of us, we saw both of these guys kind of shaking their heads a little bit. I'm going to save Jason for last for a reason. But, Joe, what exactly was it that you were disagreeing with there?
I was disagreeing. He said that Elijah Mitchell is dinged up, and that's impossible. Elijah Mitchell's never dinged up. No, listen, the Eagles defense is for real too. And I personally, I think that the Eagles defense is actually better than the 49ers. And that's no knock against the 49ers. I think these are the two best defenses in the NFL. And it's going to be, I love both of these matchups in the AFC and the NFC. It's going to be, they're evenly matched up teams. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I think the Eagles defense, I'll take them. Listen, they've got the 70 sacks. They've got guys who can get pressure. They also have a really good secondary as well, they can play really good press man. They can play great zone coverage. They can play whatever you want to. So they've got a really complete defense, and that offense that's such a complete team. And the 49ers are the same way too. They're a very complete team. And I'll still say this, and I was saying this last week because it was, really like hesitation in terms of me taking the 49ers over Dallas, even though I saw them evenly matched and they were playing in San Francisco. It was Brock Purdy. And I love Brock Purdy. He's doing really well. I don't want to just say like, oh, he's a great story, because I think that sounds like not giving enough credit, even though I know it's not necessarily meant that way. He's been doing a great job, and he played a really good game, perfect, mistake-free against Dallas, who's a good defense as well. But man, this game's in Philadelphia. Listen, I wouldn't be shocked if San Francisco won. I don't think it would be an upset of colossal proportions. They're two evenly matched teams, but Philadelphia, man, like they are just such a well-rounded team. I'm not just saying that because they, embarrassed and spanked my team out of their stadium. I just got the autopsy report on that murder scene down in Philadelphia. But it was they're just such a really good, well-rounded team. And I have to roll with them by just by a few points. And I don't know if it's gonna be. I could see it being high scoring. I could be low scoring. See it being low scoring. I'm unsure. But I do think it's gonna be a close game. But I got to go with Philadelphia pulling this one out.
So for me personally, the Eagles, I've been saying it all season that they're overrated and that they're going to be exposed, and then they keep proving me wrong. But at the end of the day, Nick Sirianni is a complete pompous jerk, and I can't even complete that sentence because George already used up our freebie. I was going to use it on talking about Sirianni, so I wholeheartedly 100%. I'm really hoping that the Niners annihilate them. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm going to save my pick for after Jason, because whatever Jason picks here, I'm going the opposite so that I can gain on him in the overall standings here. But real quick, I see something new there behind you, Jason. I don't know if maybe I just wasn't paying attention before, but I wanted to save you for last because that's it's kind of some nice swag back there. What is that?
So it's a Tampa Bay Buccaneers, flag. Here's the deal. My wife worked a lot today. So I got kicked out of the normal podcast area. I'm actually in the bedroom, and I thought, well, I'll make it unlike my previous bedroom shots where it's just the bed. So I've got Tampa Bay swag back here. I've got some over here in case you can't see it.
So we have, historically speaking, there is video out there of some pretty racy videos of you lying in bed as well. So if you want to just Google search Jason Watson from Break from the Grind, you can find it. It's out there.
There's video from me and you in Ohio. Out there too. Check that out. Check that in Pornhub. It's out there. So okay, I don't mind making the prediction and letting you come against me here. I'm picking the Eagles. You should have been able to tell by my head nodding and my head shaking. I am going for the Eagles. When you compare Philadelphia's defense to the Dallas defense, they were 15 sacks better than anybody else in the league. Not 15 compared to the worst, 15 compared to number 2 in sacks.
That's less than 1 per game.
Right. Less than 1 per game, better than the number 2 team in the league. So they're head and shoulders better than everybody else. You want to talk about their schedule? We can talk about the 49ers schedule, right? Who have they beaten since Brock Purdy took over, aside from the Cowboys? The Seahawks, terrible defense. Cardinals, terrible defense. Raiders, terrible defense. Commanders, terrible team all around. Seahawks, terrible defense. Buccaneers, whose defense is Jekyll and Hyde and generally terrible. Dolphins, terrible defense. Saints, they only scored 13. That defense isn't that good this year. Cardinals again. Chargers, terrible defense. Can I go on and on and on? The one good team they played that got curb stomped by the Chiefs, 44-23.
And that was at the beginning of the year. They did not have Christian McCaffrey at that time. They did not have Bosa at that time. They did not have Kinlaw at that time. They did not have Fred Warner at that time. Shall I continue? The
Sure,
Chiefs have
but
only.
you can say whatever you
the
want.
49ers,
You want to talk about the
49ers have only
Eagles.
allowed three
You had your
teams.
chance. You had your
The
chance.
49ers only allowed three
You
teams.
had your chance to
all
talk.
season to score more than
And you
21.
failed. You lost.
You had your chance to talk. Now it's somebody else's turn. You want to talk about 10-ply toilet paper schedule. The 49ers have probably had the easiest schedule of anybody of any team left in the playoffs. The teams they have played,
Nope.
other than Miami.
Nope. Philadelphia has had the easiest according to I think it's PFF. That Philadelphia's had the number one easiest schedule for the entire season.
And then we want to talk about Joe. Joe mentioned Brock Purdy having a pretty good game last week. I mean, he threw for what, 217, give or take,
Yeah,
something like that.
Not key thing
not
was
great,
no
and
mistakes.
he had so you say he got lucky that the Dallas Cowboys couldn't catch the interceptions he threw to them.
Correct.
And he may
100%
continue. Agree. He may continue that. Like that may be a thing. Some quarterbacks go a whole season. Aaron Rodgers, when he won MVP last year, had a bunch of drop picks, and the only reason he got MVP is because nobody could catch the ball. That may continue. You get lucky for a whole season sometimes, but if he plays that way against these Eagles, man, it gets double digits quick. So I'm taking the Eagles. I'm not even going to say it's going to be particularly close here.
Who all thinks that it's okay? So first off, the Eagles are 2.5-point favorites. So who all thinks that the 49ers will at least cover the 2.5, if not win? So myself and George are the only ones, and I'm only doing that because it's against Jason. And actually, you know what? I kind of was already kind of feeling that way anyway. So I'll roll with it, George. I'm on your side, but I have an idea here.
Hey, listen,
looky here. Like this was good for the show here. So I feel like we need to continue this little brotherly rivalry that we have here with you two, and we need to make a little side bet here. And I have an idea. Okay, bear with me. So I say it
better not involve soy sauce.
It's not soy sauce because I know that almost killed Jason.
Once a season.
So myself, I say, because you guys do your break from the grind charity games, this is a chance for us to kind of plug that real quick. I say that myself, Mike, Rich, and Joey, we all play in one of your charity games, but the loser of this bet between the Eagles and the 49ers have to pay the entry fee for the four of us. And then all four of us win no matter what.
Nah, I'm not taking that. That's $160 because it's a $40 minimum. So no.
Listen, I
don't got it like that.
I was just thinking you do like a $5 league.
Listen.
All the leagues we do are $40.
I just dropped $250 at Pristine Auction for prizes for next year. We can't do $5 entry fees.
Do you guys hear that out there, all you listeners? Pristine Auction, they're out there buying autographed merchandise, and they buy that with their own money, not the charity money. So these guys, they use their own money to pay for this stuff, so that 100% of what you pay for to enter their leagues will go to the charity, which was, again, Toys for Tots, right?
Toys for Tots, yep.
Yeah. So great stuff, guys. Make sure you keep that in mind. Probably won't be too far off before you start putting those together. A few months here in the off season, probably. But just stay tuned. We'll keep sharing it out for Toilets and Titles as well. All right. So does anybody else have anything else to add about
everybody gets
a rebuttal?
Everybody
gets
their prizes, but Nino. So I'm having a little bit of an issue with the place I purchased his prize from. I don't want to mention it in case they want to sponsor us, but thanks, George.
So Nino isn't getting his prize? Is that what I'm hearing?
The place that I purchased his prize from did not have his prize after they told me they shipped it. So I'm waiting for the same prize to come available so I can purchase it again.
Geez, sounds like something else I've heard before from somebody else out there. Oh, I'll give you prizes at charity. No, just send me thousands of
I've got email receipts from this place to back it up. It did take them a week and a half to get back to me after I asked them why it hadn't been delivered. But I have email receipts from them saying that we accidentally sold something we didn't have. and so we're working on making that right.
Well,
Luckily,
Nino.
Luckily, it was Nino, and by the way, I haven't told Nino because I just got this information from them after emailing like a week and a half ago, and then expecting it a week and a half before that. So Nino, breaking news.
Yeah, this is a great way to see what Nino.
Surprise!
Thanks, George.
Maybe Nino will mention something. We'll all wait and see if Nino mentions it, so we'll know if he watched the episode. All right, let's see. What do we have next? So obviously, the next game on the docket is the only other game on the docket. Guys, this is sad. We only have 2 games left, and then the Super Bowl.
And you're not talking about Josh Allen right now.
I was gonna say it's not sad because and I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. I love it, but when it's over, we get talking about the draft more.
That is you know what, Joey? Go ahead and tell them about your draft content because that's kind of your domain here.
Not anymore, really, and that's really Nino and Jared's content. So it's not. But I love reading up on the draft. I get so psyched, heading up to the end of April. I mean, I am working with Coach and Jared and Nino on our top 150 list, where we are writing up our own write-ups on who we believe are the top 150 in the 150 players coming into the 2023 draft. So we still got a ways to go. I tend to take a while doing my write-ups. Coach seems to be incredibly quick with it, but we're getting there. But so that's going really well. And it's cool, but they've got Jared and Nino will be knocking it out of the park for the most part with all the video draft content. And I will be doing for my New York Giants corner program. I will be doing draft content for that. So, but I love the draft. Oh, I love the draft.
Yeah, so I knew you were still doing something with the draft. That's why I mentioned that because I wanted to bring up that it's going to be on the website toiletstitles.com. Lori actually mentions down here she wants to know what who everybody thinks is going to win the Super Bowl, and we did actually write this down at the beginning of the playoffs, and I kept record of it so we could go back and look. And okay, here it is. So Coach's prediction was that the Bengals were going to beat the 49ers, and that prediction is still alive. Joe, you had the Bills beating the Cowboys. That prediction's not alive anymore. It's actually extremely dead.
I'm kind of glad it is. I just need the 49ers. I know I just need the Eagles to not make it.
Myself and Mike both chose the Bills to beat the 49ers, and that's halfway dead. But I mean, we chose the Bills to win it all, so it's kind of dead. And then let's see, George, you have the 49ers beating Kansas City. Are you still sticking with that?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There you go. And Jason, you had the Bengals beating the Eagles. Are you still sticking with that?
Hell yeah.
All right. There we go. I like it. The people that are right so far are sticking to their guns, and the people that are wrong so far, we don't deserve an opinion.
I actually am still sticking to my guns. I still think the Bills are going to win it. I don't know how, but you just wait.
Maybe not this year. Maybe not this year, Mike, but they'll win it one time.
Hey, Justin, what's really funny is after this week, either I'm going to have nobody left to play in the Super Bowl game to win, or Jason's going to have nobody left in the Super Bowl to win because he's got the Eagles and the Bengals, and I got the 49ers and the Chiefs.
Well, listen, and if I lose
49ers and Bengals play each other.
If I lose both of these games, if I lose them both, then George and I will be tied.
Do you realize that if it winds up being the 49ers and Bengals, we almost had this matchup last year. I mean, the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, but if I recall correctly, the 49ers lost a close game to the Rams, the NFC Championship game. Correct. And that would have been last year the third time that the Bengals and the 49ers met in the Super Bowl. Before that, the Bengals had only been in the Super Bowl twice before, and they were both like really close historic losses to the 49ers. So I don't know, maybe we'll get it this time.
Well, if the Bills
we won't, because the Eagles are going to curb stomp the Niners.
I think you're probably right.
If the Bills ever actually do make it back to the Super Bowl, though, I'm so going to be rooting for them because that fan base absolutely deserves it.
Yeah, they do, man.
That fan base deserves absolutely nothing.
We could have what would be kind of cool. I know Jason wouldn't agree, but I'm sorry, George wouldn't agree, but Bills versus Vikings one day. Two franchises they're each 0-4 in the Super Bowl. That would be pretty cool.
I'd rather cheer for the Patriots to win another one.
All right. You know what? Let's talk a little bit about prop bets. But we've actually just kind of talked about the game itself so much that I kind of forgot about the prop bets here that we were going to hit. But they're scrolling across the bottom for those of you at home that are watching on YouTube that want to see it. We do have them scrolling across the bottom. But we have Purdy with passing yards over or under 222 and a half. So 222 and a half, and then 250 and a half for Jalen Hurts. We've already talked about how both of these defenses are pretty stout, but they both also have a lot of weapons. I think I could probably guess based off of our picks here who has chosen what, but who likes the over for Purdy well enough that they want to talk about it? Anybody? No? All right. So it looks like we're taking the under because even if you are over, you not enough to talk about it. What about Jalen Hurts at 250 and a half? Who thinks that Jalen Hurts is going to hit that over? All right. So we're going under on the passing, and myself as well, myself included. Now rushing, this one's interesting to me. I thought that this was a typo. Christian McCaffrey, 58 and a half yards. Is it just because he's banged up? Is that really the big reason, or do we really think that the Eagles' defense is that tough?
He's not really a big rushing back. He's a receiving back. So, I mean, the key word there is rushing. He doesn't get a whole lot of rushing yards. He only averages usually about 40, 45 average rushing yards. But then he backs that up with 70, 80 passing yards or receiving yards, and a couple of touchdowns. And that's why we like him so much. But, yeah, no, I think 58-5. I think I'd be comfortable betting the under here.
All right.
I'd go out on a limb. I'm going to say Elijah Mitchell rushes more than Christian McCaffrey.
So a banged-up Elijah Mitchell outrushes a banged-up CMC.
Elijah Mitchell lives in the world of banged up.
He does.
Yeah. Well,
So
CMC has two recently too, but to a certain
What's that
degree.
Bane? What's that Bane quote? You know about you merely adopted being banged up.
I live in the banged up.
So Jalen Hurts, 46 and a half over or under rushing.
I think he'll go over on the rushing. I looked it up real quick while you were talking, Justin. You said 250 on Jalen Hurts. He's only done that 5 times all year. So I'm not expecting him to pass for 250 on San Francisco. That would be crazy.
Now, I will point out a lot of that's because they get, like, if you look at them over the year, they get big leads early and then they take the ball out of his hands. So,
no, they're also the number 1 rushing team in the league. So
yeah. A lot of it's because they get up by 20, 25 points early, and then you don't have to throw it in the second half. So there's a lot of that, but I still don't see it in this game.
It's funny because the games that he's gone over 250, like the teams that he's thrown over 250 on have been pretty bad teams. Like he threw for 315 against the Bears. He threw for 380 against the Titans. The Steelers 285. The Commanders 340. The Vikings 333. Like he's thrown for big games against some pretty bad teams.
So who thinks that Jalen Hurts will outrush CMC?
I'll take that.
I'll take that.
I'll take the outrush.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting to me. Okay.
What's interesting to watch is that the 49ers haven't really played rushing quarterbacks this year. Justin Fields super early in the season before they got into that. And they played Marcus Mariota, who I think got around 60 yards. But George can double check that for me since he's got the stats up. But like they haven't really played rushing quarterbacks this season. It'll be interesting to see how well they can actually contain one, a good one.
Roger.
Yeah, I'll take Hurts on the over in the rushing. I think they are going. Listen, that offensive line from Philadelphia is really good, but I do think the 49ers defense is their defensive line is their pass rush is very good as well, and they'll get their opportunities. And I think he will have to run, or he will run, and he'll be very effective at it, like he's been all season.
Yeah, like I think the over 4 Hurts on rushing. I think he's going to get like 55 yards. So I mean, we're really going to be cutting it thin, but I think that's going to be a confident bet. I do like Gainwell at 11.5 because I think he can get 15, 20 yards, and you're going to need to have a little bit of change of pace against that defense because when they do have to settle in on that run, man, that defense is top notch. Like I said, the thing that I'm noticing is that they don't have to deal with an RPO very often. When you have to fade a linebacker, it changes a lot of the dynamics of that defense, including short passing and the rushing game. So I think we see a big drop. I think the 49ers defense will have a tough time looking as good as they've been looking. So, and on that note, guys, I got to bail out, and we're going to go ahead and go chase a little rugrat. And one more second there, Justin.
Yeah, real quick. Just give me your pick for this next game before we get started.
I got the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to win this in fine style. I think I think having an injured Patrick Mahomes just is kind of the icing on the cake of what I thought was already going to be a plus Bengals matchup. Because I don't know what it is about the Bengals versus the Chiefs, but they have their number. But the one guy you can never count out is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, so this is definitely anybody's game. But for me, I think the Bengals pull it through. I think we see him in the Super Bowl again.
Right on. Thanks for hopping on, man. That's what the roundtable.
Thank you guys, and you guys have a good rest of your night. And I'll be in the chat. We'll be messing around with you guys out there.
All right,
bye,
man.
Mike.
Good night, Mike.
I want to say one thing on this 49ers and Eagles game. If you go back, I'm going to go back to the game that they played against the Raiders. The Raiders did put up some points on this 49ers defense because it was one of the first games where Carr wasn't playing, Stidham was in there, and McDaniels used a lot of play action in that game. 49ers, I feel like, is susceptible to play action, RPO, either way and stuff like that, to where there could be a good chance, and I'm not willing to go out on a limb on this, but if it goes the way they did with way the Raiders played, Hurts can go over that 250.5 passing yards if the 49ers play like they did against the play action and RPO like they did against the 49 Raiders.
We got Shay in the chat. What's up, Shay? Shay tweeted that, says the Eagles at minus 2.5 is a lock. We got Lori screaming Mike again. I haven't heard my wife scream another man's name this much since our last anniversary. But
the problem is that she's not screaming your name. I'm kind of concerned. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, what I mean, it's all good though. It's all good. Anything for a clip.
Is it weird that I've heard your wife scream another man's name?
A little bit. All right. So I've got the prop bets on this one. We're scrolling across the bottom just in case we don't have time to get to the prop bets. But this is the number 3 Bengals at the number 1 Chiefs. So the AFC Championship game. So this one also could be very interesting. I think personally, I feel like this one's going to be a little bit more dull and boring than the other game, and it's a closer spread. It's only a 1.5 point favorite for the Chiefs. So maybe I'm wrong, but is anybody else with me and kind of think that the Bengals are going to kind of run with this one and kind of walk away with it?
I don't think it's going to be a walk away like it was in Buffalo. I don't think so. Mahomes, I saw him walking around the other day. I mean, he seemed to be okay. I don't know how serious that high ankle sprain is. Maybe it's more serious than I'm aware of. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to walk away with it. But I am going with the Bengals though. And 1.5. That's amazing. Mahomes, Andy Reid in Kansas City, and they're only giving 1.5. That's just like. All that is really is like home field advantage. That's amazing. Even less than that, really. That's amazing.
I heard a long time ago that they usually give 3 points to the home field advantage.
Yeah.
Like if they were on a neutral field, then they were pretty much are saying that the Bengals would be favored by 1.5.
Oh, that's right. This is in a neutral field, right?
No, it's not.
No.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay, because I remember there was something with the neutral field. Okay, cool.
No,
That was only if the Bills won.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. But that's amazing. I mean, Mahomes, Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. That's amazing. The Bengals do have the number, man. They're so hot. So I got to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, and I saw the video clips of Mahomes at practice this week. Just, I mean, he's running around. He's acting like nothing hurts at all. So they're pushing a lot of drugs into that ankle. So
It's all
we'll
that
see.
cocaine they're putting in his ankle.
Exactly. We'll see
I
how well
saw it on Reddit.
well, it's got to be true then, right? So we'll see how that holds up in about 20 years when he's as old as us, but or 30 years in Rich's case. But
I'm probably the
all right.
oldest of everybody.
Jason, do you have any other insight on this game that you want to add? Anything you're looking forward to?
No, I'm looking forward to the Bengals winning again. I really like how much Joe Burrow talks crap. I was going to say the S word, but George used up our freebie. I do like the swagger coming from the Bengals, and maybe it'll come back to bite them, but I've picked the Bengals to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the playoffs, so I'm going to stick with it. Yeah, I got to see in cold weather how that ankle's going to hold up over a full game, even with the drugs. Like, how many extra shots do you think they're going to give Pat at halftime?
All of them.
All of the shots.
All of the shots.
All of the shots. Look, the Bengals defense is good. It's one of the best still in the playoffs, actually. 6th, I think, overall in points scored. They do give up a lot of yards, so I'm taking a lot of overs on these prop bets. I also think they're going to get out early, so the Kansas City's going to throw the ball a lot. I'm going a lot with the overs for Kansas City, as far as yardage goes, but not points. It'll be a close game. The last 2 they've played have been decided by 3 points. I don't see why it's going to be much more than that here, but I'm looking forward to the Bengals going back to the Super Bowl and me taking the Toilets to title postseason overall win title. I don't know. Are we calling that something? Can we call it the urinal cake? What are we doing?
You can name it whatever you want if you win it. I'm going to call it Jason's face.
The coffin lid.
All right, yeah, we're definitely moving on that note. Rich, what are you looking forward to in this game?
So earlier this season when they played, Mahomes passed for 217 yards. Kelsey had like 4 catches, maybe 5 catches for like 46 or not outstanding or anything like that. Valdez-Scantling had 2 catches for like 76 yards. I think he had 1 long touchdown in that game. And that's when Mahomes was healthy. That's when the Bengals defense wasn't playing as good as they are now. They've been good, but they've been steadily going that incline up towards this point. Wasn't a high scoring game last time because of the Chiefs not being able to do what they normally do. Right now, Bengals offense and defense are clicking on all cylinders. I would have said the same thing for the Chiefs. It wasn't for Mahomes getting hurt. I know a lot of people might not be, okay, he's walking, he's running, but you got to think when in game time, something happens again and gets rolled up on his ankle and stuff like that. And I mean, look, it's Mahomes. I get it. Everybody say he's Superman and everything. He's going to do things. He's jumping in the air, 15 feet up in the air, throwing balls down the field and everything. But if you saw some of those passes last week during the injury, they were coming out flat. He wasn't able to get into it. Some of them didn't even make it to where he was throwing it to. Just the Burrow. I've been seeing some videos and stuff like that. It's amazing how much swagger he has right now, and I just don't see. I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders. I don't see it being a close game. If you want me to be honest with you, I think Bengals pull away in this game like they did against the Bills.
So, George, somebody mentioned earlier that all 4 of these teams are playing their best defense right now, even headed into, I believe it was Rich, even headed into the playoffs, much less during the playoffs. I think we can all agree with that. Which defense has the head up here?
I think it's going to be the Kansas City defense. And that's because, like, the one thing the Bengals had to do this offseason was address their offensive line. And they did, right? Like, they went out, they signed La'el Collins from Dallas. They drafted a couple of offensive linemen really early. They got an offensive lineman back that they spent the first-round pick on last year. And the line has still been a problem. Like, that line is not good. La'el Collins is out for this game and for the rest of the year. Joe Burrow has been sacked. I believe he's like the third or fourth most sacked quarterback in the league this year. Like that line is just really bad, and they're going to Arrowhead. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think either team is really going to run away with this. I wish Patrick Mahomes did not roll his ankle last week and get that high ankle sprain, because that is the ultimate unknown, right? Like we just don't know how bad that is. And let's face it, he's a different quarterback when he can't run out and scramble and create that magic that we all love it when Patrick Mahomes does. Like, he's the best scrambling quarterback I've ever seen. And he makes magic in the pocket. He scrambles out and just throws at these angles that you should not be able to throw and make pinpoint precision passing with. Like, this guy does that. But he's a different quarterback when he has to stay in the pocket and he can't roll out. We've seen that in the past. So I wish I could say, his ankle's fine and it's not going to bother him during this game, but we really don't know. But with that said, I'm still going to go with Kansas City over the Bengals. I think the Chiefs defense playing at home has the advantage over the Bengals defense playing on the road.
So, so Nate here says that he's going to take the Chris Jones prop bet, no matter what the sacks prop.
It's 0.75. I took that last night.
Yep.
0.75. Why would they do that? Oh, because you can get a half sack.
You can get a half sack.
That's right. And if I remember right, isn't Chris Jones the one that still has yet to get a sack in his NFL career in the playoffs?
No, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I heard that stat last week. Yeah. What's up, Jason?
I don't know. I there's a Justin half sack joke in there somewhere.
Nice.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. I like that.
Yep. I can appreciate that one. But I know we didn't really review last week's games at all because at this point it's 5 days ago. But this far out, like, how freaking good was Chad Henne to come in that one drive, march him 92 yards and score. And it's like they didn't even miss a beat. They actually used up a lot of clock. Like, I'm not saying quarterback controversy, but the dude's been in the league for so long, and every time he's gotten an opportunity, he hasn't really been able to show us a whole heck of a lot. Then you throw him in that offense with Andy Reid as a coach, and all of a sudden the guy looks like he's been the starting quarterback the entire season. I was just really impressed with it. Even with that team around him, that was pretty impressive.
Every NFL team in this league wish they had a backup like Chad Henne. Yep. He comes in. That's what he's there for, to fill in and do what he did that one drive, and that's what they got him for and stuff like that. That's what a backup's meant to be. Exactly what he did, and he did that.
Oh, look at this! This is a interesting point here. Nate says that if the ankle was actually hurt, then the spread would be -9 or 9 points for the Bengals. Interesting. That's
remember last year
if it wasn't at all hurt.
Yeah. Well, remember getting to Chad Henne real quick. Remember last year in the playoffs, he had to come in for that fourth down play because Pat Mahomes went. He threw and they didn't even he throw like an out to Tyreek Hill or something.
Yes. Yep.
Like, they trusted him on a fourth down play to keep the drive going to run out the clock. Like, Chad Henne's just got ice in his veins for the few minutes he actually has to come out and play.
Yeah, and this was the same way on that drive. It was the very first play was a pass.
Yeah,
and they came right out passing. So I was impressed, and that's also huge kudos to Andy Reid too, to be able to make that call and to show your backup quarterback, we believe in you, we have faith in you. If Mahomes is down for this game, you're our guy, and we're not going to draw back on the play call just because you're a backup. But
based on that one drive, I'm picking him to be the favorite to be the Colts quarterback next year.
I don't know why I like you, Jason. All right, so we got prop bets here. Scrolling across the bottom again, and the big one I want to get to, because even though Rich made some good points before the show, we were talking about this prop bet before the show, and he made some solid points. It actually made a lot of sense, and it still is blowing my mind that it's this low because it's just one catch. But that over under for Isaiah Pacheco at 6.5. yards. That's 6.5 yards. Like, I get. Go ahead and say everything that you were saying before the show, Rich.
Real quick, it wasn't me that look. I made some points, but George is the one that called out the reason. Go ahead, George. Explain your part first.
That's why I forgot.
Yeah, so nobody listens to me, and I don't mind it. No, but I just pointed out, like, you would think 6.5 yards for Isaiah Pacheco, like, that's a slam dunk. But you look at the last 5 games he's played, he's got 1 catch, 1 catch, 1 catch, 2 catches, 0 catches. So he's like basically non-existent in the passing game. And of those games, 2 of them he didn't go over 6 yards. The 3 games that he had 1 yard in, or the 1 reception he went over, and clearly he went over 6 yards when the game he had 2 receptions. But like one of the games that he had 1 reception in, he only had 6 yards. So it's a crazy stat to think 1 reception, 6.5 yards, like that is a slam dunk. Except the problem is the guy is not really involved in the passing game. And if Pat Mahomes' ankle is truly jacked up, like Rich was saying earlier, like you can see them keeping Pacheco in the backfield as an extra blocker, because that's what he's really good at. He's good at blocking, and he's good at running between the tackles. He's not very much involved in the passing game. So it's a crazy prop bet. I would probably take the over, but it's not as much of a slam dunk as you would think.
Fair enough. Jason, what were you saying?
Well, I don't know if his ankle's truly bad. Like, yes, he could stay in the block, but how many times is he going to leak out after a couple seconds for a quick? Like,
that's McKinnon's role. That's all.
It absolutely. Listen,
But
100. It's 100%
McKinnon.
McKinnon's role, but let's say he's back there to block, and all of a sudden the line does its job, and there's nobody to block. Who's to say he doesn't go out for a couple yards and catch a pass? I don't know. Like, I think the ankle gives him a better opportunity anyway.
That the problem is he'll go out and help the line if there's nobody rushing, if there's no blitzer for him to pick up. He'll go out and he will help on the line or the edge versus running out in the flat, because that's what the play calls for.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Isaiah Pacheco is not going to deviate. He doesn't have the clout to deviate from the play call that the coach calls or Pat Mahomes calls. He doesn't have that green light to just, okay, there's nobody for me to block. Let me just run down the field. Like, that's not happening.
So I read a crazy stat. So Kelsey's got 78.5 here.
That was the next one I was going to talk about, actually.
So I read a crazy stat though that, like, if he gets 57 yards, he becomes the like second highest pass receiver in postseason history, something like that. Like, it's like number 2 behind, I would guess, Jerry Rice.
Wow. So I wanted to talk about the Kelsey because, all right. So you guys are bringing up some pretty good points about that relief valve, that extra man that could be there. And before the show, one of the names you mentioned, obviously, is Travis Kelsey. So, like, if he is limping, if he is gimping, and he's trying to dump it off, Kelsey's his go-to guy in any situation, regardless. But he's the guy that he's the most confident in as well. And I think that over-under on Kelsey at 78.5 seems pretty low to me. So I would smash the over on that anytime, and I would probably go ahead and parlay that with the over on Pacheco myself.
So real quick, back to what we're talking about, because the only one thing I want to say on it is if his ankle seriously flares up again, and McKinnon did not have a good game last week because of the fact that happened, and they had to keep him in. Now, they're going to have, if that's the case, they're going to have McKinnon in more than they will have Pacheco, because he is better at pass blocking and protecting that backfield. He's been around here long enough compared to the rookie and everything. Now, the rookie might do his job and everything, but McKinnon's going to be in there more in those situations and everything. Two for pass protection, and also he is the better back receiver where he might leak out afterwards. Now, he's probably going to have a better game than he did last week due to this fact, because they had to adapt to the situation. They've already been planning this week. They've already adapted to that situation. So I'd rather take the McKinnon receiving than I'd rather take the Pacheco receiving. Just, I wanted to kind of state that real quick.
Fair enough.
Kelsey, to Kelsey real quick. Yes, Look, last week, Kelsey killed it, 14 receptions. But if you sit there and think about it, none of those were really short. I mean, they were all down the field and everything. Yes, they might have to adapt. He might do a lot more closer to the line and everything. And the last time I played, I mentioned it earlier, he didn't have the biggest game against the Bengals either. Their linebackers do pretty well against covering them the past couple times that they played. I think what I say, he had 5 receptions for like 54, 64 yards and everything. And the line is 75, right? 75.5. This is one of the games where you see what he did last week, and you automatically want to say, hey, I'm going to smash that. But this could be a trap play and stuff like that. So I always look into those situations based off the game before on how he did compared to what's going to happen in the game coming up right now.
So what concerns me about this prop bet on Kelsey is last week against the Jaguars, he had the 14 receptions like Rich pointed out. That is by far the most receptions he's had in any game this year.
But what was the yardage, George?
He only had 98 yards. So 14 receptions, 98 yards. He only averaged 7 yards a catch, which is the 4th fewest yards per catch he's averaged all season. The last 3 games against the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Jaguars, he's averaged 7 yards per catch or fewer. So I'm not all in on this Kelsey prop bet of 78 yards. Can anybody tell me real quick off the top of the head how many times you think Kelsey's gone over 78 yards this year?
5.
3.
Jason, Joe?
7.
I'll say 5.
He's gone 9. So Jason was the close. He's only gone over 78 yards 9 times. Like I said, 14 last week is by far and away the most receptions he's had all
9
year.
times is a lot. What do you mean only?
Well, you would think it would actually be more.
I mean, I guess that's over half of the games.
I understand that, but you would think Travis Kelsey had gone over, like you look at his stats, 110 receptions, 1,338 yards, 12 touchdowns. You would think he had more than 75 yards in more than 9 games, but he hasn't. I honestly, I'd have to look, but I think that's a down year for him.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Yep.
I'll tell you the prop that I like in this game is the rushing yards for Mixon. I want to say it's like 55. Mixon wasn't at the last game that they played, and P. Ryan was in there, and he ran for over 100 yards.
Yep.
In that game. I like Mixon's prop of rushing. That's one thing I'd be more comfortable on a lot of these props.
Yeah.
I think they use Mixon a lot, try and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. But so I can see the over on that. And then Lori did pull up that asking if Kelsey will play. Kelsey's 100% going to play. He was a full participant in practice. He didn't talk to the media after the game or after the practice today. He is a no-show for that, but they listed him as a full participant in practice, which means he's playing. There's no way if Patrick Mahomes is limping around on one leg, they're for sure going to play Kelsey in this.
And to be fair, all tight ends have bad backs. Yeah, because that was her next comment it's a back injury. All tight ends have bad backs, and whenever you played in the league as long as he has, like you hardly ever practice anyway. So
I for sure know what the problem is, Justin, is that they've saved all the shots for Mahomes. So there's no more shots for Kelsey.
Yeah, they're flying them in from other cities right now. They're like they're saying, "Hey Jacksonville, we know you don't need those shots anymore. Can you fly some of yours in?"
Jacksonville may say no. They just beat Jacksonville. They got to find it from somewhere else.
That's why it was kind of a slight. That's why I use them. Hey guys, we need to push to get off here though. Yeah, here you go. Oh, you meant because of my back. I thought you meant. Oh, okay.
He could be, but Ohio happened.
Oh yeah. Funny times. All right, so we do need to push to get off here, but speaking of push, I'm still trying to push our affiliates on toiletstitles.com, guys. We have Valentine's Day coming up, all right, and a lot of the viewers out there have significant others that they might want to buy for Valentine's Day. You can buy stuff on Amazon. by going through toiletstitles.com first and clicking on the Amazon affiliate. You can buy things through Homage. You can buy things through fanatics.com is also an affiliate right now. Click on that affiliate link. Buy that merchandise for your loved one. George, I know that your wife would absolutely love a brand new Dolphins hoodie to wear around the house.
I just want to point out your wife would absolutely love a Joe Burrow hoodie.
I know she would.
Your wife actually watches football. My wife has no idea about anything.
Yeah, she would actually just love Joe Burrow, period. So
Right.
I can't afford that one, though. So, yep, absolutely. I'm thinking about you, babe. I'm thinking about you. We've got that Amazon link. I wonder if I can just get an Amazon gift card so she can just buy whatever she wants. Is that insensitive, or is it smart?
It's smart. She can't yell at you for getting her something stupid then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, you would think, but I'm sure she'll find a way. All right. Hey, fellas, thanks a lot for coming on. We need to get off here. Make sure you guys, those of you that are watching, you immediately flip back onto Toilets and Titles. Watch P2P immediately following us. They should be coming on, hopefully. Usually it's within about 20 minutes after we get off of here. But thanks a lot for coming on, guys. Everybody have it. Oh, wait. We need to make our picks. The Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites. Who thinks that the Bengals will at least cover the 1.5 points? Ooh, so George is alone on an island. All right.
It's the only way he ties me.
Oh.
I would be taking the Chiefs on that one anyway. That's my Super Bowl team.
It's true.
So just for the record, Coach went with the 49ers and the Bengals as well. So, all right. That's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm sure we will see you for our big Super Bowl episode in a couple of weeks. So it's a Super Bowl bash. This is going to be the third year, I believe, of it. Maybe the fourth year. I don't know. These years all kind of run together, but we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Rich, enjoy your birthday dinner, man. Again,
Appreciate you guys.
happy birthday to you. Y'all have a great night.
Happy